and Commissioner Harris. I want to thank you for that. At this time, Ms. Jackson, if you do a roll call for me, please, ma'am.
Okay. Mayor Keith,
Present.
Commissioner Armstrong,
Present.
Commissioner Darden, Commissioner Harris,
Here.
Commissioner Todd,
Here.
Commissioner House,
Here.
Commissioner Harvey.
Here.
All right, if you don't mind, if you would, Brother Stanley, will you give us the invocation, please, sir?
Almighty God, we're grateful again for your care for us and your guidance and your help as we do what's best for our city and our citizens. Continue to watch over us, give us wisdom as we meet today. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Todd. I guess we're still looking to see if Mr. Darden gets on. Josh should get him on. Josh can do it. So, all right, Ms. Jackson, we'll the first thing we'll do is we'll go over the financial statements for April.
Okay. All righty, we'll start on page 1. And we'll go down to sales tax. That account number is 3101. In April, we collected $143,368. And we're at 6% remaining to be collected on that line item. And if you see at the top, the ideal remaining percentage is 17%. We only need 6% more on the sales tax to make the budget. So we're running ahead of schedule on the sales tax. We hope that continues.
Yeah, do we? I didn't have it, and I was looking for it. Do we have? Can you tell me what the amount that we collected last month?
Last month, I can pull it up right here on my computer real quick for you.
Just to see. I'm sorry, I thought I had it, but I did not.
No, that's fine.
Just to see what it was.
That's one of the best advantage of sitting right here in front of my computer. I can pull up anything you want me to pull up. Quick. Last month, March, we collected 113,000. So we collected more this month. We collected $30,000 more. So
wow.
people were out spending. They was buying up all the toilet paper and the paper towels and hand sanitizers.
Exactly.
That's what they were doing.
And they all going to the hardware store and Jesup and the tire shop.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on down about 3 line items down, occupation taxes. We collected $32,782 on that, and the deadline has passed for that. The deadline on getting your business license was April the 2nd. We're being a little lenient on that deadline, of course, due to the situation. But we've collected most of the money, and that was budgeted. We've budgeted $380,000. We collected right at almost $370,000, so we almost there. So we only need 3% more to make the budget. All right, turn over to page 2. And the bottom section, towards the bottom, you got Gurma property and liability insurance, and that account number is 523101. And you'll see we paid out for general fund $129,600, and that's for the property and liability insurance premiums that we have to pay. We pay those premiums once per month. Per year, excuse me, once per year. And that total invoice is $230,000. That's just paid once per year. But for general fund, we paid right at $130,000 of it, and the rest of it came out of water and sewer fund.
So the total premium on that is $230,000.
Yes.
Who is Germa?
That stands for Georgia Interlocal Risk Management Association. That's just the company name. that provides the property and liability insurance for the city.
Do we bid that out, or is that something, it's only people that do that?
Well, they've been doing it for us for years and years and years, many years. I mean, we could build it out. Yes, of course.
Not really. I mean, GERMA is
That's a
is
GMO.
a collection of cities and counties that pool resources, Commissioner Todd. Actually, it's cities. ACCG is county. But so what happens is cities who wish to participate pool, POOL, pool their resources, and you pay money into the fund, and then the fund essentially acts like an insurance company, although not exactly. So could you go buy the insurance in the private marketplace? Nah, this is really your primary option. Just about every city that I know of, and Mr. Deal, you may know of some that don't, but just about every city that I know of participates in GERMA.
Yeah, I don't know any that don't really. It's a GMA company.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Moving on to page 4. And you'll see the top section, vehicle. This is the police department vehicle 54-2207, 31,923 was spent. He actually bidded out some vehicles, and y'all approved him to bid it out, the police chief. And he only was able to get one of those vehicles, and the rest of them he was unable to get. They were not available anymore. So he rolled those vehicles over to the proposed budget that we're getting ready to review later. So when you see that figure in the proposed budget, it will look pretty high because he's rolling over these vehicles into
Chief,
the.
it's already highlighted.
He's already highlighted it.
I already highlighted that on the
Oh.
budget.
Okay, that was your question.
That was one of them.
Well, you already got the answer.
So Chief bought one car.
One car, yes.
We
One
had
vehicle.
approved what, 3 cars, something like that?
I think he was trying to get 4 vehicles altogether, and he was only able to purchase one of them.
Five
You-
vehicles. is
You
what
trying to
we
get
budgeted.
5? Okay. I think it was a Durango and some,
4 cars.
right. And I think he was able to get Durango, but not the cars.
And what he wants to do is double up this coming year. He'll tell you about it as soon as he gets on.
Might should have got him last year.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, moving on down to health insurance claims, 552200. And we're still in the police department. And if you notice, it has a negative in that column, which means we got a refund from the reinsurance company. After we pay out so much money on claims, then we get a check from the reinsurance company. It rolls over to a reinsurance company. So 56,000 of the money we spent out for claims in the police department was refunded to us. So that brought his figure back down. So he had 160,000 budgeted. So now it shows that 123 has been spent after you apply that $56,000 refund.
So just for a little bit more explanation, it was a refund because of what?
Reinsurance.
Because after you spend a certain amount on one particular employee,
Oh, okay.
then it goes into the
Yeah.
reinsurance company.
Okay.
We only liable up to a certain
Yes.
dollar
Okay.
amount.
Thank you.
You're welcome, because we're self-insured.
Yes.
40,000, Russ? Is it 40,000?
I think it's 30,000.
Has that happened in any? Okay.
It'll happen in several departments, actually.
Right. Okay. Moving on, if you have any questions, let me know, because I'm just skipping through. I'm mainly catching, most of the items that's $25,000 or more. All right, page 10. The last section. And that's SPLOS 4. The SPLOS 4 revenue, 33,700 is that account number.
7,100.
That's the last section on page 10.
Okay, I got you.
And we collected 96,572. That's how much revenue we got in from SPLOS. 96,572, and we only have 5% remaining to be received. So we're
Okay.
ahead of schedule on that. Okay, moving right along. Page 13. The top section, very first line item, water revenues. And their account number is 344211. We collected $96,416 for water revenues. And then moving on down to sewer revenues, and their account number is 344256. And we collected $156,356 on that. Okay. Moving
So
on
we
down.
only liking 12% more.
12%, yes. We only need 12% on both of them. The water revenues and the sewer revenues. We only need 12% more revenues to meet the budget. And the ideal remaining is 17, so we run ahead of schedule on that. We're 5% ahead. And on the bank interest, that number is 361001. We collected, and this is water and sewer fund, we collected $11,378 worth of interest. And most of that interest, over $10,000 of that interest, comes from the CD. If you recall, we moved the water and sewer savings account from one bank to another to take advantage of a high CD interest rate that was offered. And that interest rate was 2.75% for 15 months. That was back in August of last year. And that CD matures this November of this year, but it's earning 2.75%. That's set. So that means that interest was not affected at all by the drastic reduction and the interest rates seen by all of our other bank accounts, city bank accounts. All of our other bank accounts took a dive on the interest. I mean, really took a dive. This is the only account we have, this CD that's locked in at is 2.75 that was not affected at all. We continue to earn the 2.75% interest on it, which is over $10,000 every month. We're earning on that and continue to earn until this CD matures in November.
Very good job, Ms. Jackson.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We lucked out on that one. All righty. Going over to page 15. The top section. This is the other part of the property and liability insurance. And that account number is 523101. and we paid out, this is the premium of 99,782. That's just the water and sewer portion. And you recall the other portion came out of general fund. Okay, page 16. On I just want to just note on the first section, account numbers 541403, water and sewer, I mean the wastewater treatment plant solar array. And the next item down, 541413, which is the rehab on lift station. If you recall, the solar array money, the $278,017 was posted to the rehab lift station. So I got that corrected, changed it. That's why it's showing a negative on the rehab on the lift station, because I pulled that 278 out of that and put it in the correct account. All right, the second section, the debt service. Just want to note on the 1.7 G for loan, that's for the solar array. Those loan payments have not started yet. It's still interest only that we're paying every month. And the note payments won't start until later this year around September. Okay, moving on to page 17, top section. Sanitation fees, that's the second line item. And we collected $74,266 in sanitation fees. And then as a total, and before I give you that total, I just want to share something with y'all. I had one of my ladies to do up between yesterday and today. She gave me the totals of delinquent water customers. As you know, we have not been, turning off any water for non-payment for the last few months. Of course, we plan to change that next month, if at all is possible. But the bills that's over 30 days, that's the ones that owe 2-month bill, that's 100 people. That's the total is right at $11,000. And then the ones that's over 60 days past due is right at $11,000. It's 57 people. And then over 90 days is 18 people for $4,000. So the total is, you're talking about 175 customers, and we have like 3,700 customers. So this is 175 customers. This includes residential and commercial. The total due right now for not, turning off water is $25,000. And that was very surprising to me that it would come out to be that low amount. So that lets you know most of the people have been paying their bill continuously. All right, and then the total on the financial statement, the total revenue, the total expenses over the revenue for the year to date is $80,500. And that's all I have on the financial statement, unless you have any questions.
Ms. Jackson, those that over 90 days, that's prior to, that's probably January, February, March.
That's no, that's the over 90. No, it's February, March, April, and we didn't do cut off this month. So those are the people that haven't paid since February. March. April.
Okay. Okay.
But that was just surprising to me. I thought that figure was going to be much higher. So that goes to show people are steady paying their bills, even throughout this crisis.
All right. Anybody got? Hey, Mr. Darden, how are you, sir?
He's muted.
He's muted.
I'm sitting up here since before 4:45, saying waiting on the meeting to join, and then nothing happened.
Well, we're glad to have you, Mr. Darden.
And I was glad to see everybody.
Yes, sir, Mr. House. You got a question?
Well, I was just going to say, we changed the fees and so on and the penalties. It might be in an effort to try to get some more people to pay, we might contemplate lowering the penalty or something to try to get people to give people a chance to get caught up.
Let me tell you this, Commissioner House. We have not charged any late fees. We haven't charged late fees in March, April, or May. So we have not charged any late fees. We usually apply the late fees right after the 20th of the month. We have not applied late fees to these accounts for those 3 months. And also online payments, the customer was paying $2.50 to make an online payment to pay the water bill. We went ahead and waived those fees, which means the customer is no longer paying the $2.50 the city is. So we went ahead and did that to help out the customers.
Yeah, we need to try to get everybody caught up if we can, and we might.
Is there?
I think that encouraged a lot of people to pay their bills, especially online payments. A lot of people were not using online payments because of that $2.50 fee. They were saying, well, I'm not gonna, pay a fee just to pay my bill. So they, we removed that fee. So now they can go online and pay the bill with no fee.
What about, is there a chance that we could probably look at the 60 and 90-day overs and contact them and give them the option to spread those bills out over a 3-month period?
Yes,
sure. Say, for instance, they have for the 90 days, they got a $110 bill, and we spread it out over the next 3 months to give them an opportunity to get caught up. I mean, it's not free, but give them the opportunity to get it caught up by spreading the fee, the money out and giving them the 3 months to do that.
Right, we can do that. All we have to do, we can do that on the water bill easily. All you have to do is punch in the total and tell the computer how many months you want to spread that out, and it'll just add that to the current water bill each month.
Can we have the girls contact those 64, 74 people and see if that's, I mean, I think the over 30 is not a concern right now.
Right.
I think 60 days is kind of touch and go, but I definitely the 90 days for sure.
Right.
Would it be would you be able to put a something in their water bill?
Insert?
Yeah, something like that.
We could, but you know how that is. A lot of people not going to read it.
Yeah, I think Colin will do that. And
Yeah.
you've talked about changing it next month. What are you talking about? Doing away with what we've been doing?
I'm saying next month, maybe we can start back with requiring people to pay the bill or get the water disconnected, if that's possible.
Well, I mean, we got to start sometime, and I think, I look at the 100 customers that are 30 days. I think that's an easy fix, more than likely with any of them.
That's about what we average anyway, 100 or so.
So that if we could get that opportunity there for them to spread it out over 3 months, and they're notified that we're going to do that, then
You're muted.
Me?
Mr. Deal. Mr. Deal is muted.
Uh, I mean, if we do that, I mean, that's the ones we don't want to keep growing. The
Right.
60 to 90 day.
Exactly.
I think we're pretty good as far as, I mean, you know, the people, that's the 60 and 90 days, 14,000 out of the 11 out of the 25, and just those two groups. And if those two groups catch up, I think our 30 days is fine. I think.
Right. I agree.
My point was, that's about what we average anyway. Whether
Yeah.
it's in the pandemic or whatever, that's what we do.
I would try that, Miss Jackson, you and Mr. Deal, if y'all don't mind, to see if those 74 people would be, if that would be something they want to do, and give them that option.
Okay, we can contact them.
Is that what the council, is that something y'all think that would work?
Yeah, I think it'll help.
Okay. All right. Any other things for Miss Jackson? All righty. Thank you, Miss Jackson, for that on the financial meeting.
You're welcome.
Stuff, and I think now that will give us the opportunity to work on our budget. Excuse me, I'm sorry if that was mine. To look at the budget that Mr. Dillon and Miss Jackson's put together along with the department heads. And
Before we go to that, Mayor, was anything changed on Cracker Williams? We okay with that?
you know what? I'm sorry. Thank you, Commissioner Todd. I didn't pull up Cracker Williams. Anything change on the Cracker Williams, Miss Jackson?
No, we only had one check on the Cracker Williams, and that was it. We had one check added.
That was Coley for supplies, $216.96.
Yes, it was very small.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Didn't have that screen. But we know that the department heads, Mr. Deal and Ms. Jackson, have started working on this thing at one time, and then, as we all know, we had a setback. So we're looking at some different things, and so this was a draft that they put together on looking at some of it, and there's some things that I think we all want to discuss and talk about. So Mr. Deal and Ms. Jackson, whichever one of y'all want to get started on it, we'll get as far as y'all want to work. That's another question before we get started on this thing. Does anybody have a time limit they want to get on this thing, or are we looking at maybe till another hour or hour and a half till 7 o'clock? What's the consensus? Yes, sir.
Mayor, we've got all the department heads here. I think we ought to go as far as we can, because we're going to have to start voting on this first meeting in June, and then we'll have to vote. You know what I mean? We'll have to get a second before the 1st of July. So
yeah, we can.
We got to do what we got to do.
Right. I'm agreeable.
We have stayed here not all night, but we stayed here a long time. But if there's anything that stands out, I mean, that might be what we cover with each department head.
Well, I see a couple of things, Sue, but
let's got a phone so we can talk to them on.
Let's shoot for 7:30 and see where it goes at 7:30, where we're at.
Okay.
That's 2 hours.
All
right. Mr. Deal.
Well, the first thing that we need to know, we're in a little bit different situation than we have been in the past with the virus affecting what might happen later on. I really feel that we're going to be okay with the reserve funds that we have. I don't think it's going to affect us as much as it will some other government agencies like the state. The state depends a lot on their funds coming from tax money or whatever, which might be lower, and from taxes on goods also. And and I don't see that we're going to be in the same situation that the state's in. We don't depend on the same type of revenue sources. So I really think we're going to be okay. But what we need to hear, what department heads need to hear, what I need to hear, what Ms. Jackson needs to hear, is kind of what your thoughts are on which way we need to go. Do we need to try to push this budget just as it is today, or just as it has been in the past year or so, or give me a number? You know, the state's saying they're going to cut 14%. Well, you know, we don't have to do that, but you know, if that's your goal or whatever, then that's your goal. So that's kind of what we need to do. We're going to be fine. I think that you know, we only take in on an $8 million budget, we only take $1 million in from ad valorem taxes. So that's really not going to change a lot. There might be a few people that don't pay those taxes, but there's not going to be a lot of people. It's not going to go down drastically. Another big source is local option sales tax. Well, I showed you last month that so far it's not been affected. And I read today on the internet that Walmart sales is up 10% than what it's been in the past. So we get a lot there. We get a good bit from Rayonier. I don't think Rayonier's is going down any. So, you know, we have some mom and pop stores, but that's very minimal. So we just need to hear, and it's, you know, I can't sit here and tell you that we're going to collect the same amount in revenue next year. I feel like it'll be close in dealing with budgets. As long as I've been dealing with them, I feel like it's going to be really close. But if you will highlight, or if you will, I don't know if we go around the room or whatever, but you tell us what you expect from us, so we'll know what you expect, and it'll give us some idea of what we need to do.
Yes, sir, Mr. Harris.
And Mike's right. We don't know, and of course the state is actually, the state, Mike, was going down 14% before all this happened. So now they're looking at 18 or so. But but I agree with you. I don't think we need to do that. But Commissioner Harris of the 3rd District wants our budget to be very conservative this year. We do have our reserves, but you know, if we don't have to spend them, why spend it? So I think, and there again, I can only speak for me. I've done some research, and you know, maybe 8 to 10% lower might be a good figure. And if we do have a smaller budget and our revenues are higher, I mean, that's a good thing. But I just hate depending on our bank account, our reserves, you know, every year. I think that now's a good time to scale back a little bit, do what's needed and not what's wanted. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I you know, I see that, you know, and looking at Mr. Dill and Ms. Jackson put our budget highlights on there, and I know we'll let each department, you know, discuss it, but you know, it's and not to bust Mr. Crawford's bubble, but you know, if you don't put in an automated water system this year, you know, that's $1.2 million there that we could postpone if we had to. But there's some things that we need to look at, and I think we've got to do some more looking at. Yes, sir, Mr. Deal.
Let me mention one thing. We use fund balance to balance our budget at the beginning of the year. Very seldom, and not ever since I've been back, do we use any of that fund balance money. We underspend and come under budget enough that I think almost, help me out, Rose, I think almost every year we add 2 fund ballots. We're not taking anything away. It's over $4 million in
Right.
growth, over 5 million, and it grows a little bit each year. So we're not actually taking any money out of fund ballots, and nor have we in the past. We got one advantage. This last SPLOST, as you well know, we're able to use SPLOST money now to supplement what we would be taking out of general fund. So we're actually not dipping into the fund balance at all.
Well, let's go ahead and start where you. Is that what that you think you want to do, Mr. Deal? Is just go through it and let the department heads speak to us?
Sure, I don't have a problem with that, and they know, we've talked. They know it's going to be a lean year. It's not a year that we're going to go out and enhance a bunch of stuff around the city. It's not a year that we're going to go out, but we do have money available in SPLOST 4 money, and I don't think it's fair to the voters. They voted for us to spend X amount of money on X amount of issues, and it's not. I don't think it's keep it for 10 years or so. I just don't. I think we need to do the stuff that we need to do to take care of this city now. And one thing that pops into my head is the new garbage truck we're going to buy. We intend to buy that out of SPLOST, and I think it's something we need to do. We're working hard on keeping our trucks, and we're to the point. You understand? We bought 2 3 years ago, Alan or Eddie, 4 years ago. Neither one of them was finding. Alan, Eddie. We bought garbage trucks when? Eddie.
When did we buy a garbage truck?
4 years ago.
Okay, 4 years ago. And, you know, the max on those garbage trucks are 5 years. So, you know, if you use them past that, you're going to be paying more money than you need to be paying in repairs and all that sort of stuff. So there's a point of no return, and 5 years is that point of no return. So we need to buy at least one this year and then get on schedule where we can buy one again next year, and we buy that out of SPLOST.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
That's what we voted SPLOST in. That's what we sold to the citizens.
Right.
That's what we need to do.
And do some water repairs with SPLOST.
Oh yeah, we got. Yeah, here's the other thing, and you know, there's some question about what money comes out of water back in the general fund. You know, for 10 years or more than 10 years, actually, the only SPLOST money that we spent was in the water department. We didn't spend any money whatsoever. No SPLOST money whatsoever went to the general fund. It all went to the water fund. Now it's changed somewhat, and there's an amount of money that goes to the water fund, and there's an amount of money that goes to the general fund. We've not totally balanced that out, but we swap some around. We let water pay general some money to make sure we get by, and it's not always been that way. General fund used to pay water, so there's a fine line to balance those. As long as you have money available, or SPLOST is paying more of the expense in water than it does in general, then it's okay to pay some back into that fund. If general is balancing out, it's get more money from SPLOST than water fund is. So there'll be some time that we turn around and it could very easily have to pay some money out of general fund into water fund. Now the best thing to do from an accounting procedure is make sure that they always balance, and then you pay them out of the fund that they come out of. Water is an enterprise fund; it should always pay for itself, and it's doing so. It's doing well right now, and our rates are much lower than most other cities our size. So we're doing good.
Can I get you all to back up, or maybe I'm going too fast, or you all going too fast for me? But on the budget, the annual budget cover letter.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, on the second page there, where it was talking about for the swimming pool, I was under the impression that we was getting $100,000 from the DNR, and we was gonna match that with 100. Where does 3,000 come in at?
300,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can do it. I don't really know. We don't have a clue what it's going to cost till we get in there, and it might be spread out over a 2-year period. There's a lot of things that we're going to have to look at when we get in there. I think 200,000 is a good number. I really do, but we're going to have to look in it. We're going to have to do some design, and we got to check the pipes.
But Mike, you told us when we agreed to this project that you were sure we could do it for the grant and what we had left.
Plus the labor that goes in that we're going to do.
Which that's what our 100,000 is supposed to be about.
That's right.
So we can cut 100,000 off of this, or just leave it there, or what?
I think we can do the 200,000. Look, if we get into it, if we get into that project and we see that the pipes are all bursted and it's beyond repair, we send the money back to the state. We don't do anything. We cover it back up. I don't think it's that bad. Now, Bill Schuman and I have been talking, and he thinks that we might have some issues with the filtering system because it's been setting up so long.
Mr. Deal, what about that group, the pool group that was trying to build a large pool? You know, if we show and we're doing 100 and the state's doing 100, maybe we could get that group to raise 100 themselves.
Well, yeah. Other than the fact that they want a big pool, they don't want this small pool. But I think we can get.
Well, right now, the way the things are happening right now, the big pool is out of the question for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So in other words, that going out there to Bill Morris Park is canceled.
That's pretty much dead.
Yes, ma'am. Pretty much. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll stay where we're at. Okay.
So what we would end up doing is with of course, it'd be kind of hard to go to the school system to get some money from them to be able to allow the school kids to play, because they're going to be cut 14% too. So, but there was some talk from some of the folks in that meeting that they could come up with some funds, and if this is going to be a way to be able to encourage swimming and still be able to have a swimming pool for the school systems and the rec systems, then, you know, whether they go and put it in an Olympic-sized swimming pool wherever, I mean, this is better than nothing for them. So I think we ought to try to reach out to them and let them start talking that stuff now and seeing if that's something they can come up with. All right. Thank you, Ms. Armstrong. You know, we're estimating the sales tax revenue of 1.3 million. We ain't got a clue.
That's true.
If you listen to the webinar that GMA put on there, you just can't figure that. So we've got to make sure that we're looking at, you know, doing the things that we've got to do, and as you said earlier, the frills and all that we like to do. I mean, we got splash money. We can do stuff that the folks voted on, and we've got money to do that stuff with. The TIA funds, those kind of things. So I mean, that's already been raised. So I think we need to look at some of this, whether we need to go on with them or not, or you know, it's nothing says you can't do something in mid-year. You know, 6 months from now. I'm sorry, Mr. Darden, you had something?
Nick, if you unmute me. Yeah, has there been a mindset change with this pool? You know, we talked before, we thought we had something worked out, and now they backed out on it. So I don't know if the county and the school system, what are they saying now?
Well, no, we had decided we could do it for with the grant and then our labor. I think is the way it was presented.
That's correct.
And
Yeah,
not do competition pool, but do just a pool for the citizens of Jesup.
okay, I understand that, Nick, but I'm talking about if we were talking still partnering with them to do something different.
No,
Not at that time. Once we decided that we could get that $100,000 grant from the state, and our 100,000 was pretty much going to be able to put us back a pool that we were going to make sure that the citizens of the community can use. Not necessarily school systems or the rec centers, but I think that needs to be addressed with them again to see if that's something they're interested in, Mr. Darden.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay,
I got two other questions here on the same thing.
that'll be fine. Yes, ma'am.
For the accomplishments of $50,000 for the tires and for the Amnesty Day, does that still stand for us whenever we can get a Amnesty Day now?
we have to reapply for a new one. And we're doing that.
Okay, so this 50 has already been burned out.
It's been collected and it's been spent. We're at a neutral balance.
Okay,
State paid for it.
so how about this intern landfill? Is that the price that we agreed to pay for that? To have that done, that $142,000
That was the cost of the property.
or the cost
That
of
we
the
purchased, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on the highlights, and we'll get started on some of the other stuff. I mean, I'm trying to make it as we can go through those department heads that you've got there tonight, Mike, Mr. Deal, and we can look at those, and if we want to start that, I mean, we can always get Miss Jackson. So you want to start with one of the department heads? I see Chief Lane is sitting right there. He's had time enough to come up with what he's going to say. So
Yeah, we can go through, we can run through, and if this is a new experience for all of us. It's a learning experience on what we do after a pandemic or what we do during a pandemic. Is the pandemic going to hit again in around Christmas, around Thanksgiving? We don't know. Do we plan for it to hit us again? I don't know. That's
No,
what we all
planning
think
for
about.
it too, but it's
We
gonna
look
happen.
at, we go through with the police department budget, say, or with City Hall's budget, and if y'all have some things that you want us to do, point them out. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you about what we do and don't do.
Oh, I agree, and and we're talking about what we're going to do for the budget year 20 to 21. But if you listen to the webinar with the GMA and the commissioner from Revenue, David Curry, you got to look for 2 years. This is a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
It's not just get through 2020 and 2021. It's the 21-22 year that he says you got to look at. And as far as everything, when reassessments on properties and things like that. So I'd like to think, we get through 1 year, we're good to go, but I think we're going to have some more obstacles that we'll have to challenges that we'll have in the next year's budget also. All right, well, let's start with Chief Lane.
He's hooking up as we speak.
I'm off mute now.
Yes, sir.
Stanley.
All right, y'all want me to just start, or y'all got questions?
Hang on just a second. Mr. Todd?
You muted, Stanley. Stanley, you muted. You muted, Stanley.
Yeah. Okay, Chief, you're going to start us. Where are we going to be in this budget? What page?
8.
Huh?
8.
Page 8. Thank you.
I'll start with I know the main question in the room because Mr. Harris said he'd already had it highlighted. You look at the vehicle purchase line item, you'll see that it increased by $137,500 last year's budget, which was 142. The reason for that is on March the 9th, and I had y'all all copies of it, we got a letter from Dodge saying that they had canceled our order, which had been confirmed for our 4 Dodge Chargers. And the reason for that being they rebuilt the Dodge transmissions from 6-speed transmissions to 8-speed transmissions, and they were only awarding bids for the number of transmissions they had in stock. Well, apparently Dodge doesn't know how to count, and they were all 500 and something transmissions. So our vehicles were confirmed and then they were canceled. And so we were unable to purchase 4 of the 5 vehicles we had budgeted last year. So I had requested that 110,000 from this year's budget that's not going to be spent be rolled into next year's budget. And the other part of that, the 27.5 comes in. It's just budget in case that SRO grant that's done been approved by council goes through. If that grant goes through and we get an SRO position at the middle schools, the school will give us $35,000 for a police car for that SRO position. And 27.5 of that 35,000 will go towards the purchase of a new car, 5,000 for a car camera, and then $2,500 for equipment. And you'll see where those have been added on those line items as well. But just to give you a quick preview on the cars, y'all heard me preach every year about the importance of keeping our vehicle fleet up to date. And that requires us to purchase 5 vehicles every year. That's replacing cars on a 6-year cycle. Just this year in 11 months, from April to February, 12 vehicles that are 14 and older. This is just figures from the city shop, not counting if they had to be sent to a dealership to have any repair work done. This is just repair work that the city shop can perform at our shop. We spent on 12 vehicles a little over $12,000, and then on 19 vehicles that were 15 or newer, we spent under $6,000. So we spent more than double on 12 vehicles versus 19 vehicles. Because the older these cars get, and it's costing us, and Mr. Boyd's in here, me and him's had this discussion before. Once these police cars start getting over 6 years old, the maintenance on them starts going up tremendously. So that's the reason there's such a big increase in that line item. Again, it's rolling $110,000 of unspent money in this year's budget to next year's budget, and then $27,500 in that line item would be coming from the school system, not actually from the city budget. And I had Mr. Harris's paper that he liked so much last year. I had him another one prepared for this year. Our overall budget, you're showing in the police department, you're showing an increase of $290,500. Well, I broke down all those increases, and basically you got $75,000 of that spread out over group insurance, salaries, contribution, retirement contribution, workers' comp, all those things for that new employee for the SRO position that actually won't be costing the city anything if that grant goes through. Because what the grant doesn't cover, the school's going to be reimbursing. Those are figures just added in case that new position is approved. Then you had a $6,000 increase in gas and oil. And again, that's money that the city will be getting back from the county once that animal control contract for the $25,000 goes through, if that's the route we go. We had to include $6,000 more to cover animal control fuel because the county will no longer be buying it. Again, the 137.5 increase for the vehicles. Then you had the 5,000, which is covered by the school for the car camera and equipping the SR vehicle for a total of the $291,500. But I'd also like to point out that out of this budget, I want to talk about income back to the city. Under this budget, you've got one SRO that's currently under contract for $75,000 that we get back from the school system. You got the second one that's going to be on the grant for another $75,000. You got 35,000 that you're gonna get from the school board for a vehicle, and you've got 25,000 for animal control contract with the county. That's a total of $285,000. Then you add the 110,000 that we request and roll from this year to budget, the next year's budget. That's a total of $395,000. Well, if you take that off of the 200 and we've got our budget is $3,739,900. If you take that $395,000, the actual cost to the city for the police department budget is $3,344,900, not the $3,739,000. If that, I have paperwork for all y'all, but it's hard, can't hand it to you over the phone. But other than that, we did not increase our budget any. Except, I mean, there's the slight increase we have in the budget is just from step raises for employees from year to year under our merit system. But as far as our actual line items, everything that was increased is either covered by money we're getting back from other government agencies, and then the grant if it goes through. And keep in mind, if that grant don't go through, then this is money that just won't be spent, that's been figured in. But as far as your actual line items in the budget, we did not. Matter of fact, it was lowered $1,000 versus what it was last year. Now we did do some, if you'll look at your line items and compare line by line, we did do some shifting around in different line items to get money in different places. Like one, you'll see a new line item added on there for firearms for $7,000. We shifted money around in different line items to get that $7,000 to buy new pistols. In the last few months, we sent 2 pistols off for repairs and had to buy, well, I'll take that back. We repair them ourselves. We had to order the parts. We've got 2 Glock armors at the PD, myself being one of those. But in our line of work, the last thing we need malfunctioning on us is our firearm, because when you need it, you need it. So, but that's coming at no extra cost. It's just readjusting line items around in the budget and shifting money. Do y'all have any particular questions about the budget y'all have for me?
Chief, on I'm sorry, I was looking down. Did somebody wave their hand? Okay. Chief, on the informants and all, the increase there, is there something you're working on that you?
Oh, that is money that we pay informant. I'm sure as y'all have noticed, we've got a very active drug office in place. This $5,000 is what I inherited when I took over as chief, and we kept that for a few years. We're $1,000 over budget right now this year, but we've got it covered in another line item. That's not an issue. But we felt the need to up that because our drug unit is so active and being so productive, they needed more money in that area. And again, that money was got out of other line items. It was not an increase in the budget. We lessened other line items to get that $5,000 extra to put into that line item.
Okay.
The one thing I will point out on this budget, if y'all will look at, let me find it, attorney fees. I can't find it when I'm looking for it. Miss Rose isn't in here, and I don't have my number budget. I've got mine. Y'all see it on there anywhere?
For what?
Attorney fees, attorney.
No.
I can't.
Chief,
Somebody help him? I didn't, I'm sorry.
just
Chief.
explain it, Mike.
It's on the top of page 8.
Dollars in the attorney's fees budgeted, and it's showing now that we spent 5,000. Is Miss Rose there?
To the financial statement, not the budget.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Referring to
I
the
don't have-
financial statement.
I don't have the new financial statement with me. That's why I'm asking. We had
Okay,
3,000.
I thought you was on the budget, but you actually talking about the financial statements. On the financial statement, the legal fees will be on page 3 of the financial statement.
Yep.
And Mike Lane is muted again. Okay, now we can hear you.
Yeah,
On the legal fees, that's on page 3, the bottom section. The number is 521201, legal service fees. And he's saying that he had $2,000 budgeted. 5,000 has been spent, and that was on the drug case that we had to pay attorney fees on.
what I was going to explain on that is the way the auditor are doing that, we hadn't actually spent any money on legal fees. I just wanted y'all to understand that. We had a drug seizure case where we seized 11,000 and something dollars, and part of the DA's agreement when they worked out their deal was that we had to, out of the money that was awarded to us, we had to pay the defendant's attorney in Atlanta $5,000. So, yeah, I can't see all your.
Mike Lane keeps getting muted.
Why
That
you keep
money
muted?
actually came out of our seizure account, not the budget. So we're really not over budget in that line item. So, and I'm sorry, Miss Rose, I did get off the budget and got on the financial statement.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with you. It's hard.
I apologize. Does anybody have any questions for me as far as the budget?
Yes, Mr. Harris.
Good job, Chief.
Thank you.
But I do have a couple of questions.
Go ahead. I will get you a copy of my reports tomorrow if you want them.
I would love it. I like your reports. Wish everybody did them. Why is it that we can't go ahead and buy the vehicles in this budget?
Because they canceled we only budgeted enough money trying to be feasible with our budget. We don't price out to buy all SUVs, and we stick with the Dodge Charger.
Right.
Because they are minimum $5,000 less a vehicle, and you cannot get a Dodge Charger. Like I said, Dodge only builds. There's not a dealership I've checked. There's not a dealership around that has one on their lot. They are sold out, and they only made as many transmissions as they had built. They took this year to modify their transmission from a 6-speed to an 8-speed transmission. Shouldn't run into this problem next year, from what they're telling me. Which, well, since we're on the budget, that was my next thing. What I would like to talk to y'all about, I had this stuff for y'all for our slide presentations and all that got canceled. But while we're talking about the cars, I would like for y'all to consider letting us go back to purchasing off a state contract. The reason for that being is it's a faster and order process. And from what I have found out since dealing with this cancellation of orders, that the manufacturer has to honor the government buying under the state contract before they can honor any private government buys. In other words, if we had ordered these vehicles this year off a government contract, we've been guaranteed to get them because they could not have canceled our order. They have to cancel private orders before they cancel the orders on that government contract. The Georgia State Patrol, DNR, they all purchased off the state contract. And just to give y'all an idea, last year, the V8 Dodge Charger under state contract was $22,786. And our lowest bid when we bid out the V8s from Ginn Dodge in Covington, Georgia, was $24,891. That's $2,105 higher than the state contract. And I've been told by Mr. Brian Chapman, who is the Southeast Fleet Government Sales Manager for Dodge, that he guarantees there's not a Dodge dealer anywhere in the state that's going to beat that government contract price because of the incentives they put with the deal on that government contract pricing. So I think we're backing up by bidding the cars versus buying off state contract. State contract is going to guarantee our order. It'll be a faster process. And I think we're going to get better pricing by ordering off the state contract as well. And, I know the advantage of bidding was to give some of our local dealers an opportunity, but we don't have any local dealers that are selling the Dodge Chargers. And unless we want to go from a $24,000 to $25,000 vehicle to buying $34,000 and $35,000 vehicles for the Chevrolet Tahoes, we need to stick with the Dodge Chargers.
Can I ask the question there? Why did we come off of that? You said we was with the state
Yes, ma'am.
contract once.
Mr.
Why did
Deal,
we come off?
when we come up, from what I've been told, this happened several years ago, but from what I was told is that the group of commissioners at the time was wanting to give an opportunity for local dealers to be able to bid versus, because there's only one agency in the state of Georgia, or one car dealer in the state of Georgia that gets that state contract.
That's correct.
They all bid on it. It's put up for bid. They all bid on it, and the lowest bidder is awarded that state contract. And right now, the one that's got it is a dealership outside of Atlanta.
We went off state contract in order to give the local guys a chance, and it costs us a lot of money, just like Mike said.
And right now, you're just down to one dealership, and that's the Chevrolet or GMC vehicles, correct?
Yeah, that's the only ones we have in town that can get us a new vehicle. And like I said, we can go that route where they'll have an opportunity to bid, but the only thing they're selling now is that Tahoe that's going to run you $34,000, $35,000. I don't think we want to buy that expensive of police cars.
So you don't want a Chevy Bolt?
Who?
The Bolt?
Vote.
Package. If they do, they just come out with it. He went away.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be asking y'all to roll this money, but we are in desperate need of cars. I've got one police officer in the police academy right now, and I don't even have a car to put her in. When she gets out of the academy, she's gonna have to be riding with somebody, which is good because she'll have a training program to go through anyway. But we are really hurting on cars.
So even if you had the opportunity to do that, they can't provide you with those cars until probably when?
I've got that wrote down, and it's at my office. I think they're going to release the pricing. Now, this was all prior COVID-19 or pre-COVID-19. They was going to release the pricing in mid-August, and I think September the 11th or 13th was the date that you should be able to start ordering.
State contract to go first, won't they, Mike?
State contract to get. See, that's the advantage. If we buy off that state contract, we know what the price is. As soon as they release the pricing in August, then I come to y'all and ask for permission to buy these cars at this price. And when I placed the order, I don't have to put them out for bid and wait 4 weeks and us get the lower bid and then order the cars. It can be done immediately.
So I guess what you're saying is we'll know in August on what the state contract price is going to be.
Yes, and like I said, just to compare it to last year, it was $2,100. Our lowest bid price was $2,100 more than the state contract price.
So when you say 2,100, how many vehicles are we talking about?
Well, we had 4 we didn't buy, and then next year we had left our original 5 in the budget at the 142,000. And next year it was going to be 4 more police cars and then an animal control truck. I got one animal control truck that's a 2008. It's 12 years old.
So you're talking at least 10 police cars?
9.
9.
Your truck will make 10.
8 police cars and 1 animal control truck.
So that'd save us about $20,000 in purchasing the vehicles.
If it's like it was this year, it was a difference of $2,100.
Okay.
Mr. Harris, you only asked one. You said you had several.
No, I didn't say several. I said a couple. $129,000 for the law enforcement building you didn't spend this year.
That's the money that's sitting that line item where the county reimbursed the city for their portion. That's a set amount. I don't control that. That's sitting in the account where the county reimbursed when they had to buy the city out of the building, the sheriff's office and the
Yeah,
911
that
center.
was $90,000. That went away a year or two ago.
Well, that's what I've been told that's what it was. I mean, I told that
Rose?
was money that has not been spent out of the reimbursement money that was come from the county.
Rose, I see your lips
I've been
moving.
told that. That's what the former chief had told me.
Okay. Yes, that $90,000 did go into that account. And then that's the remaining is what was already in there before the 90,000 got in. But yeah, that includes the reimbursement. Now
And I've spent, we
he
did spend it. We did buy the carpet and stuff. I can't remember, Miss Rose. When we put new carpet in our building last year, and then last
right,
year's budget, it came out of that.
right, exactly. That's just the balance that's left out of all the money. You know, I think we got like a total of 450,000 from the back from the county.
Right.
That's the remaining money that was left. All the rest of it's been spent.
So you put that, hold on a minute. So you put that in one account separate from the general fund?
It's in the general fund. It's under the general fund umbrella, but it's in a separate checking account, a special police account where this money can only be spent, you know, for certain things.
And listen, the only reason the money hadn't been spent, trust me, we've got half of our building sitting there that hadn't been renovated, but we just hadn't been. We've been trying to be good stewards and not spend money. But I do. I had it in my PowerPoint presentation last year, and I had it in there again. The offices down there where our drug agents and our detectives are working, they're run down. They've never been upgraded. They don't have new carpet. They need paint and new carpet. All them offices on that side of the building need to be renovated.
Well, I guess my thought would be we spend this money on your new building, like when we bought the air conditioners, when we, that's what that money's for, is it not, Rose?
Right.
It don't need to just sit there. I mean, I just noticed it was there last year and you spent just a little bit, not even $1,000.
I think what Mike likes to do is put the total that's in the account in the budget for anything that comes up. He will have enough money in there without you all having to amend the budget. I think that's his thing.
Yeah, I think when I first took over the budget, there was what 50,000 in there, Miss
Right.
Rose, and I asked you what the balance was, and we done that based on our special police forfeiture account too. I mean, the former chief had $5,000 in there. Well, if we got in an absolute bind, and I've got $35,000 sitting in my drug seizure money account, and we get an absolute bind, and we have to buy a car or something with it, then it's the money's sitting there. It's not tax money, it's seized money. I just wanted y'all to be able to see the balance sitting in those accounts. This is what we actually have. So when you see that drug seizure amount, when you look at that $29,000, I think that's what it was in the new budget, wasn't it, Miss Rose?
Right.
That's how much. Well, it's actually a little higher than that because we've seized some money since we began working on the budget. There's probably close to 33 to 35,000 in it now, but that's money that's been seized since the budget study began.
Mike, you're also waiting on a pretty large seizure too, aren't you?
Yeah, we still got $150,000 seizure that we have not heard back from the DA's office on yet, and we should have heard back by now. I don't know what's taking so long on that one.
All right.
I did take out a position I was going to ask for y'all though.
You took
Good
what?
man.
I didn't want to get fussed at tonight, so I just took it out.
Okay.
Well, I'll also commend you on your overtime. I don't know where I heard people talking about overtime, and y'all kept it down, so I appreciate that too.
Yeah, we keep a close eye on overtime, and we've realigned our shifts so that it will help control overtime the way we've got our patrol shifts realigned as well.
Yeah, we budgeted right at 80,000 last year, and you only right at 43,000 that you've used.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good
Mr.
stuff.
Darden?
I think the year before we spent 48 or 51, something like that.
You muted.
Mr. Darden?
You muted.
You got to unmute yourself, Mr. Dunn.
You muted. Nick, you're gonna have to unmute him.
There you go. Now
All right. Now, what I was saying, if this all this money is in that account, why don't he take one of those offices, one by one, and start working on them and start using the money that way? So I have to do them all at one time, and that way he could use some of that money to get those offices upgraded and bring them up to speed.
We just haven't done it. If y'all rode by the PD, y'all notice that we're trying to work on the making the outside of our property look like a actual police station. We got a new sign going up, which, you know, my initial proposal to y'all in the budget study last year was to go with an electronic sign that was going to cost us around 17, 18 grand. I didn't think that was a good idea, so we went back to went a different route, and we'll probably end up having $3,000 or $4,000 on our new sign versus 18 grand. So we're doing things slowly along, Mr. Darden, and it'll probably be one of those things where I'll just have to bring it to y'all. Possibly depends on how much it's going to cost to do each office at a time, because we got to do the hallways going down to the offices and stuff too. But we can definitely start modifying those offices. The officers would love to have that done.
Okay, great idea.
Any other comments or questions for Chief Ling?
You don't spend enough money.
Okay. All right. Who you got next in there, Mr. Deal?
Our fire department.
Fire. My phone's dead, so did Miss Rose ever get this up and running? Miss Rose, did you ever get the laptop up and running?
Molly's handling it.
What page is the fire department?
10. I've got
4%.
Yeah, it starts at 10, Miss Armstrong.
Okay, I got you.
At the very bottom.
I got you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
Molly is the technical person.
Yes, sir, Mr. Todd.
You muted. You muted.
Tried to unmute. There you go. Why do I keep on being muted? I don't do it. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Mine just goes on mute.
Mine was doing it when I first started off, and it just quit.
All right.
All right. Next, we got Mr.
Mr.
Molly
Dodd.
Hall.
Ten million.
All right. Mr. Josh.
Yeah, keep this one up.
Waiting on you, Josh. Whenever you get ready, Chief.
You're not gonna be able to say yourself. Okay.
He's trying to get the thing where it'll stay up.
Can
Wow.
y'all see him?
Yeah, we see.
Yeah, I can see.
Can we hear him?
That's the thing.
He's not saying anything.
Test, Josh.
Test. Y'all hear me?
Very little.
Nick.
Hey.
Nick,
Yes, ma'am.
what can we do to help his volume. Can I
He
can I
needs
put the mic?
headphones.
Oh, that's the only way I can't put the mic over there?
What, not, what mic?
The mic in the council room.
No, if you had
Speak,
your
just
headphones on.
speak up.
What's that?
Try
That
it
won't
Can you
again.
hear me
help.
now?
The mic that I turn on for the meeting.
Try him again.
No.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Where y'all want to just start from the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. There's an increase in the employee salaries for adding 3 more positions in case of when ISO does their inspection. We've been told we'll probably need 1 more person per shift. That's a $121,000 increase. The next increase that we have is membership dues. The Firefighter Association for the state and the pension fund have notified us that there's going to be an increase this year on that. That's $1,200. And the next item, there's a few new items. The fire prevention for kids. That was moved out of the books and maps, along with computer software. That used to all be under our books and maps. That's why the books and maps has decreased 14,000, and 2 new line items were added.
Question on that, those books and maps is something that they have to use specially for themselves?
The books and maps. Well, that's just a line item that we've always had in our. It was mainly for fire prevention material,
Okay.
and then computer software came out of that. We just broke it down where we can keep track of the stuff a little bit easier.
Okay.
The books and maps are for some of the training manuals that we have to order. That's all. The $4,000 is for training books and stuff that we have to purchase each year for classes. The biggest item on there is the $600,000 for an air and light truck. That's a grant that if we do get it, the city will be responsible for. I think it's only like 28 to 30,000. The 600,000's in there just in case we have to pay
What
for
about
it.
that truck I was talking about?
Nah, it's not that one. Not a ladder truck.
We're gonna
But
put
yeah.
a ladder on top of it and let Mr. Armstrong ride and pray with it.
Hey, I can do that.
But yeah, that 600,000 would be, most of it would be a grant. It'd be only up to 30,000 the city would be responsible for if we do get awarded that grant. Pretty much the rest of the stuff is basically close to the same. The work body truck and the air packs, the SCBAs are something that we were going to try to get this year, and I think she just moved it to next year since we haven't had a chance to bid on that this year. We do have a line item for fire hose. We got to replace the supply hose on all the fire trucks, minus the new truck. We got new supply hose on it already. It's $18,000. I think overall the budget increased 640,000. That's the majority of us at air and light truck, and then 3 new positions. Y'all got any questions on that?
Mr. Josh, now those 3 new positions we're talking about in the fire, that is only if ISO changes us and we're servicing calls in the county, because that's what we were going to try to pass along to the county. If they want our service, we're going to have to hire 3 new positions, correct?
Well, Skip believes it was a total of 6 positions if we wanted to continue to go out in the county. And for just the city, he was saying we needed 1 more position for tanker delivery, and then we need also the rescue / service truck that he thinks we'll get a lot of extra points on it.
Oh, okay. So this isn't to deal with the ISO ratings if it changes to go in the county, correct?
Nah, this was strictly just to get the most credit for the city. The county, that's where he was saying we needed to add probably another position if we continued responding in the county.
All right. Does these 3 new positions, does that change the ISO rating for the city?
Pretty much. He said it would give us the maximum points as far as what we deliver as far as equipment and apparatus to the scenes.
So that there's a chance that our protection class in the city will go from a 4 to a 3?
Good possibility.
And what that does is save taxpayers money on the house insurance.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, and we need them.
And then commercial side also.
Yeah, the commercial's big. The commercial's what the big deal you have.
Yeah. More of the benefit would be for the commercial side.
So that would be a benefit in the industrial park if
Sometimes you remind me.
I don't want to throw you under the bus.
That's what
somebody, Miss Jackson, you put on mute.
Rose, there you go.
Okay. With the new industrial park, that process is in the final stages out there off of out around Bill Morris Park. So that's big for an industry coming into our community about the charges for fire protection and their insurance. I mean, if they're building a $30 million plant out there, that's a big deal for them.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Howe.
Did I understand you to say, and you'll have to listen on the thing because there's a delay. Did I understand you to say that the light and ladder the light and air truck is a grant?
Yes, sir. It is a grant.
We're getting the whole amount?
Well, we don't know yet. We're not sure yet if we're going to get the whole amount. It's a grant we applied for, and I'm not sure when they're going to be awarded. It's now with everything. They've put a.
So if we don't get the grant, then okay.
I have one question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the rise in the budget of 600,000 is that truck. For all intent and practical purposes, the fire department's budget has pretty much remained the same.
Yes, sir. Except for the 3 positions.
And that 600,000 Ray is a grant. The city's portion is 30,000, so we'll get all but $30,000 refunded.
Puts us back down to 1.8. There's a pretty good rise, but we need the firefighters. That's all there is to it.
Mr. Harris.
Josh.
Yes, sir.
What's your thinking about behind raising your overtime? Because this year you really haven't used it.
Well, I guess the overtime was another 1,000 per firefighter.
Okay.
That's something that Miss Harriet takes care of, the salary part.
I have a question to ask Mr. Josh. Are you training to be the chief, or are you the chief?
No, ma'am. I'm the assistant chief. Gene's still
Where's
here.
the chief? Okay.
Gene is in. Am I moved? Gene is in Atlanta right now. He called me earlier today, but he is in training. Josh is in training. We'll have a change probably pretty shortly. Gene is fixing to retire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in training. He's been in training for a while.
I just want to know because he always comes up to present, and the chief was never there, so I was just wondering.
Yeah, that'll be changing pretty soon.
Okay.
Some other questions for Josh?
Yeah, the health insurance claim, I noticed it went up 50,000. Is that because of some special reason, Josh?
Well, this year we had some people that had some major surgeries, and it was well over for the 2019-2020 budget. So we increased it just where we wouldn't be over so much next year, or if same things occurred this year as what happened this current year.
It's impossible to predict. It's just one of those things that you do. Hopefully, it'll be back down to last year's.
Yeah. Hopefully, we don't use any of it.
All right. Got anything else for Mr. Josh? All right. Who's next there, Mr. Deal?
Oh.
Eddie. Eddie.
Yeah.
Have to hold it up where they. I don't have a case. There you go. See?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Mhm.
Hello, Eddie.
What page we starting on?
We're going to start on.
Budget starts on page 13.
Okay.
Department starts on page 13.
All right, Mr. Eddie,
Yes, sir.
wherever you want to start, we'll look along with you.
Okay, sir. In street department, we stayed about the same dollar wise, and went down a little bit in the street department. I spent a good bit of money this year on maintenance equipment. We've had a unusual high number of breakdowns in street and sanitation, and had some pretty costly bills that we normally don't encounter. But street department is pretty well the same thing. If y'all have any questions, I'd do my best to answer them for you.
What's you deducted out the 75,000 contract for mechanics? Is that what you had the agreement we had with the county? Is that what that was?
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And they're, full-time city employees now.
Okay.
Eddie, do you have anything in your budget to for that street in front of the shop? That thing's a mess.
It sure is.
No, I do not. We got some money, like for street repairs and stuff. And we could probably take it out of that.
That comes out of LeMeg money. That'll come out of a separate.
It's already, Mr. Schuman's got that in there to redo that street.
That's
good.
Right.
It needs it.
He's got that street and the one right beside Dollar General. That's in his plans, to Dollar General, and the one I know for sure in front of the city shop.
Right. That's Worst Street, Jesup, right there in front of the shop.
Yeah, sure.
And the Dollar General Street is Rump Street is a real close second.
Yeah.
It might be first.
Oh no, Brother Todd, you better, if you ain't been down in front of the street department lately, get you a tractor and go through there.
And I go that way quite frequently, and it's bad.
Yes, it is.
Eddie, you do have a garbage truck, is that right? That's coming up.
Yes, sir. We've spent quite a bit of money on garbage truck this year, especially the front loader. It's about lived its life expectancy, and we've probably spent between $15,000 and $20,000 on repairs for that truck just this last year. And I would highly recommend us getting a new commercial truck at least.
Well, that's some of the splash money too, isn't it, Mr. Deal?
That's right. That's correct.
Virtual meeting was open to.
So that wouldn't come out of your budget then.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be a line item in his
Yeah,
in his
there's
budget. Yeah, there'll be a line item in his budget for the truck.
No, it's under SPOS.
We got to have it. We got to show where you bought it and spent it somewhere.
It's under sanitation and SPOS. I'm looking at it.
They on a break. No.
What page is that on, Mr. Harris?
29.
Thank you. Yep.
Eddie, you got $10,000 for a storage building and $50 for a mini dump truck that you didn't spend this year.
Yes, sir.
And you just rolling that over?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. The truck that we're using now is probably, I'm guessing, close to 10 years old, maybe a little bit older. And it's, you know, sometimes you can have too much of a truck in city streets and alleys and things, and you need something a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a truck that we use a lot when we're patching streets and things of that nature, and just need a little bit of dirt somewhere in a tight location. The building is adjacent to what one that we built several years back at the shop. We've already got the concrete poured, and you know, we might be able to get it out of this year's budget, maybe.
Okay.
But the truck body, the tool body truck, that's for Bohan, and his truck is we'll keep that truck because it's still a good truck. It's not that old, but it's just with everything that he does for the city, he has to carry the shop with him on the back of that truck, basically.
Mm.
And we've had to beef it up because it's just overloaded, basically. Too much weight on the truck that size.
Mr. Eddie, what is there a reason why it's showing that on page 14 the electricity street lights went down 10,000?
Yes, sir. That's the well, I mean, you know, I was looking at my budget and I looked like I could save a little bit of money there, and that's why, you know.
Is that because of the LED lights, or?
I think that they charge us a flat rate.
That's what I thought. It was a flat rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they just misbilled us, so we'll just go down. I'm sure they'll catch up. Of course, I figured, you know, we added a few lights over there, over behind Zaxby and all that area. There's three, maybe 4 lights. So
yeah, it looks a lot better at night.
Yep. Very good. Yep. Anything else for Mr. Williams?
Our Sunset Boulevard is still dark. Sometime maybe we can put some more lights on Sunset Boulevard.
I agree with you 100%. There's and you know, it makes me nervous, you know, with people texting and messing with their phones and people walking on that sidewalk. That's a bad situation.
Yeah.
And it is dark down there in that creek bottom.
Yep.
Can we get an idea of how many lights it would take and try our local Georgia Power man to see if we can get another good deal?
Yeah, I'll talk to Mr. Allen.
I mean, I think we did pretty well over there behind Zaxby's in that area cost wise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we were all thinking, Mr. Deal, weren't we looking at quite a bit of money for them? We thought at first, you know, 2,000 or 3,000 per light.
Yeah, we can, and in this area, we won't have to put up poles. So,
Right, this is just mounting the lights to them. Okay.
Yeah, it would be a big asset over there. So many people walk that, and like Eddie said, with all the texting and things of that nature. I mean, it's an area where we need some more lighting.
And it's used, that sidewalk's used a lot by people, walking down to,
Absolutely.
the shopping center, and there's traffic on it at night.
Yeah.
That would be a good start. That would be a good start for there. Yeah. Okay. Anybody got anything else for Mr. Williams? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Eddie. We appreciate it.
Nope. Mr. Eddie finna move too fast. I'm still getting phone calls, Mr. Eddie, on that tree that we talked about. I've talked to you and Mr. Deal about that tree, and I'm still getting phone calls on that tree.
This afternoon, about 2:30, he was getting ready to take another one down for us. At Cracker Williams, and it's dangerous. It's dead, and it's right there where you park at. And he was a little bit leery of doing it because the breeze was blowing a little bit. But he left there with the intentions of going to 1042 East Plum Street, and that tree should be on the ground as we talking right now.
Okay, because I got in a call the other day about it, and he was saying that it was leaning his way, and some of the limbs had fell when they had this little storm to come through, and it fell on the light pole, the light line.
He's been so, yeah. In his defense, he's been swamped here lately. I mean, we've been waiting a while on that one, and I've been waiting on some of mine to get cut down also.
Okay. Well, that's it. That's all I have now. You can pull out if you like to.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Eddie.
Who would y'all like to speak to next?
Who you got next, Mr. Deal?
Don Herring.
Don, you up?
Just tell him, hey, we'll see him later.
Tell him thank you.
That's about what it takes with Don.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything in the
very
budget.
quick.
Yeah, I don't see anything for Don.
He's gonna be very quick.
Yeah, what page is he on?
That'll have to be on page.
Don would be on page. It starts on page 16 for the building inspections.
Before we go too much further, can I back up just a minute before Don come in? Who's over the cemetery? Whose department is that? Street? Eddie? That's what I need to ask him about that. We're still having the $50,000 sitting there for the cemetery, and it's in 2 or 3 different places. There's still $50,000 on the cemetery. Are we gonna do anything for that or not?
That's up to y'all.
But I made a suggestion to where it was at, and I think that's Deacon Darton's on Commissioner Darton's area, and I didn't want to just take over, but I made some suggestions on it.
Well, they just haven't added any more money in there for it. That's what the problem is. No money has been added in the last 2 years.
Well, there's no more cemetery plots in there. Is that correct, Miss Jackson?
Correct.
Yeah, there's no more spots in there.
Well, Mayor, it's not for the plots that's in there. That's for the development of a new cemetery.
Okay.
That's what that was, that $50,000 construction there. Construction.
Yeah, that was supposed to be for the construction of a new cemetery. And in the area that we just purchased all that land.
Off of Sunset, off of Bypass?
Yeah, North Palm.
Yeah, South Farm. I'm sorry, North Farm. You're right. You're right.
I live on South Farm.
You're right.
All right, hang on a second. Mr. Harris.
We put that $50,000 in last year to do a study on that property that we bought for the inert landfill in that area. And we agreed to put that $50,000 to do a study, see if we could put a cemetery in there. That $50,000 was not put in there for the construction of a new cemetery.
Okay.
So it needs to be rephrased there then because it's got cemetery construction.
Cemetery. Oh, you talking about on
I
that
can
page?
change the name to say whatever y'all wanted to say.
That's on page 15, probably about midways there.
Whatever title y'all want it to be, that's what I can change it to at this point.
Well, I don't think it's so much about the title. I think it's just what we're going to do with the money. If it's supposed to be for the construction, or if it's supposed to be for the, as Nick stated before, to get it plotted out, whatever, that's what we need to do with it.
Mr. Deal, what did Mr. Schuman say? Wasn't that something he was looking into?
Well, the decision has never been made that we start on a new cemetery. And when we get word from y'all that that's what you want us to do, we'd be glad to do it.
Well, I think what the commission would like to do is determine if that's feasible property to do it on.
That's what we put the money in there for.
Yeah.
To survey
Doesn't have
property.
checked on.
That's right. And we need to do that. We just hadn't done it. One of these things where, you know,
We'll change that on the budget line to say cemetery survey,
Okay.
and that way we'll know what we're doing it for.
All right. I'm changing it right now.
All right. Okay, Mr. Harry.
Yes.
All right, sir. You want to get into yours?
Yes, I need nothing.
What page are you coming from, Mr. Harris?
16.
He's on page 16 through 17.
Okay.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah. Keep issuing those building permits.
While you're with us, can you just give us an update on what's going on, anything new or what's in process?
Popeyes should be through by the end of the month.
Oh, really?
They're working on it. Yeah. And supposedly Starbucks is looking in the building here. Inmark and the hospital, they building their doctor's office now. They're close to being through out there at the assisted living facility. And we've got a couple homes they're about through with.
Okay. How many patients or people will stay in that new living facility? Do you know?
I think it was 30, I think we figured out 32 rooms, if I'm not mistaken. So it'd be about 32. It's I think there's 16 rooms that's just single rooms. Then the other ones is more like suites.
And they're all self-pay?
Self-pay?
Uh-huh. Or is it Medicare, government funded?
I'm not for sure. I don't know how they do that.
Okay.
And what did you say the buildings was being done by the hospital?
That some doctor offices in front of the hospital. Is by the hospital.
Doctor's office.
St. Joseph's Candler, Wayne Memorial are moving into there.
All right. Anything else for Mr. Harry? All right. Thank you, Mr. Harry.
All right.
Keep issuing those building permits.
All right. Who do you want me to call next?
Molly. Bill, you want to go ahead and do yours?
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Okay, since we're skipping over Molly right now, we're gonna start with Bill, and his page starts. He's in the water department, so you got to keep flipping over. And his department is on page 37.
Wow.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you, Mr. Bill?
Great. My budget has remained flat, except for a potential salary and Social Security increase. Everything else is the same.
Good job.
Hey.
Like that. Boy.
Easy enough.
We could let you go first. You could be back in Brunswick by now.
Well, that's true.
You'll have to remind us next year.
No problem.
Pardon me, Rose. What page did you say? I don't see it.
37.
37. top
Mr.
of the
Shipman,
page.
I would like to ask you a question on how is the sidewalks coming along?
We're just getting ready to get started on that now. You'll see some activity probably within the next week or 10 days.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
Thank you,
No,
Mr. Shipman.
All right, you're
Be
welcome.
careful going to Brunswick.
Bye.
Mike, while we're on that streets and everything, talking about sidewalks, 4th Street, limbs all across the sidewalk. You can't walk on it. Between Orange all the way down to 1st Street, the hospital, both sides of the street. Sidewalks are blocked either by the individuals, homeowners not cutting the limbs to cover the sidewalk, and people dragging their debris and putting it on the sidewalk so that you can't walk on the sidewalk. As a matter of fact, last week a limb fell in a person's yard as I was walking 4th Street, and he pulled it out and just laid it on the sidewalk where you can't walk on it. And that's at 444 South 4th Street, and then all the way down, but on both sides of the street. Also on North 4th Street, you got the same thing. Between Pine and the Railroad Avenue, limbs all over the street. You can't hardly walk on it because of limbs and things. So that's something we need to look at.
Right, all the way down 4th Street.
Yep, both sides of the street.
While we talking about limbs and so forth, correct me, am I correct that if someone gets some trees cut in their yards, they are the tree cutters are responsible for hauling that off?
That's correct.
Remove it.
That's correct.
Oh, we got some of that's going on over here now, that they's cutting trees out of the yards. I guess these people's getting their little stimulus checks and they's wanting to cut their trees down, and they paying to have the trees cut, but they're not moving them. The tree cutters is not moving them.
We'll just notify the homeowner they need to contact the tree surgeon to come back out and remove the property, remove the debris.
Okay.
You let Mr. Deal know, the homeowner, or if you see the homeowner, you just tell them that they need to notify their tree surgeon.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Molly's department it starts on page 20.
Page 20. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Can y'all hear me?
Good evening.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My budget has stayed relatively the same. The biggest changes in my budget are under the master plan projects. Last year we budgeted $250,000 in that department, or in that line item, and this year I chose to split that between and put 125 into master plan and 125 into the what's called parking lot extension, which would be that CSX rail area. So I split that between the two. So really, my budget went down by $75,000.
Well, Miss Hall, on that CSX, I had a conversation with my CSX guy last week. I sent him a message. Let me find him the name here.
No, you crazy enough.
Christopher Markle, that's with the real estate department down there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that that I'm probably going to end up having to get Mr. Connor involved. I've gone as far as high as I can besides sitting in front of a man's desk down there in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
At the CSX guy. I mean, we've got a contract, and it says in that contract, of course, we're not paying them any money. but they signed a contract and they made the deal with us, and we've tried. I've tried to help them find some more property. I had the IDA trying to help them find some more property. They're looking at one now that I think may become available under foreclosure within the next 30, 60 days that they're looking at purchasing. So I hope you get to use that money.
I hope so too. I really feel like that like that project would be a true catalyst project downtown. I think it's got a lot of potential to cause a lot of private investment as well. So
Yeah,
I hope so too.
Yeah, Georgia Power is really excited about being a partner in that. They want to spend money into it, and so does Rainier, and so does Yellowwood. So we got some folks, some private investors that want to put money into this to clean up the city. And I thought after a while enough politicians higher up would be able to make CSX do what they said they're going to do, but evidently I know this is going on probably 3 years at least.
Yeah.
So okay, well, I appreciate you doing that, and we'll man, I'd like to see you spend it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Mayor, have you talked to the city attorney about that?
No, I have not. Well, we've discussed it in brief, but nothing that drawing up papers to send them to them to that yet. No, we have not. We're trying to, you get more with sugar than you get with, can't even get my
Vinegar.
Well, you think they'll rebel on you more? Because you said the talk was that they were some terrible people to work with. So do you think they'll rebel more?
The last time they bailed and made it real tough was due to a hard conversation that the mayor had with some of them prior to me, and it took a while, and I thought we were over that hump, but everybody tells me, and some of the guys in Atlanta tell me, that CSX just does what they want to do.
Yeah.
And that's hard to believe that some company can make that big of a decision that somebody somewhere can't make them change. I mean, they were supposed to move all this stuff to Nahunta. They had a piece of property and everything. All of it was there. The turnoff, the rail spur, everything was there for them. But then somebody higher up than those guys told them no, they weren't going to build a $250,000 building down there for that. Because it was going to be their maintenance shop too.
Mayor Keith, do you think that sharing those visuals and the vision of what we have for that property would help persuade them in any way?
Oh, I could, yeah. When I go down there and I guess I don't want to go down there with a letter, but I'd like for them to do that. And that would be good. Yeah, if you could get me a copy of that, and I'll get with Christopher and ask him to stop by again, and we'll show him some more property. We thought the Y was a good spot right down there going on the Y where the railroad track split, but they didn't have enough of that property to do it on, and I keep hounding to them. I mean, most of it's junk. You can't just get rid of it. I mean, most of it is non-usable. Yeah. And they said that.
I really think that we need to check on what you got working right now. And we've talked about that. We've been working on them to try to get that stuff out for 40 years now. At least 30 we've been working hard on. And you just don't push them. That's the way they work. And if we keep going, and you and I have talked about it several times, if we keep trying to go the way we are, maybe we'll get something. I knew it's going to be hard. That's just the way they work.
I saw somebody holding a hand. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Todd.
Yes, sir. The city does maintain some type of right-of-way property down that street. Is that correct? We do have a sidewalk. We do have some land there, right?
There's no sidewalk.
No sidewalk.
Very little.
So all we have is just all the city has down, that is, South Brunswick Street. What is it? No, not Brunswick. Broad, right?
Yeah.
That's Broad and Orange. Yeah.
Yes. So on that street, we have no other right of way.
I think ours stops at the curbing, doesn't it, Mr. Deal?
It goes to the back of the power poles, but it's not very much.
For sure. I don't know. I didn't know we'd have any streets where the city wouldn't have some right of way.
We do.
So why don't the city put up a barricade, a fence? I mean, if we've been looking at this for 30 years,
been longer than that.
Just got through saying it's time for us to do something. So why don't we put up a nice white vinyl fence to cover all that up?
You talking about around the whole property?
Yeah.
Just
Right
along
down
the street.
Right on down the street.
I mean, they're not going to do it, so why don't we just cover it up?
What we need to do is see how much land we have from the curbing, how far it goes.
There should be some project fund, something somewhere that's available to give us money somewhere to build a fence.
My concern with that would be the cost involved for the fencing to later come back and remove it.
I don't think that's going to happen. Are we going to wait another 30 years to see if that's going to happen? We've done waited 30 years according to Mike.
I'll check with Mr. Connor and see how far we got on that property there. Let me get with Mr. Connor and see.
If you do that, how long will that be, Mayor?
What's that?
Before you do that?
He can do that in a day or two.
Oh, I can do that in a day or two to find out how, yeah.
I think maybe in one of our meetings, sooner than later, we ought to go ahead and do something.
Okay. I'll check with Mr. Connor and see where our property line starts.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Miss. Go ahead, Miss Molly.
That's really the largest, the chunk of my budget that's changed is last year we had budgeted 75 in that. I took that 75 out and split that 250, but 125 for master plan and 125 for the CSX property. And so that's the biggest change in my budget. I'm here to answer any questions you guys have.
I hated to tie up all your time on that railroad, but I'm tired of that railroad.
I think everybody shares those feelings.
I do appreciate your efforts though, Mayor.
Oh, I thank you. Yeah, I'm putting me a note right here to speak with Mr. Connor about that one also. All right. Anything else from Miss Hall? All right.
Who would y'all like me to call next?
Anthony, you're up.
Thank you, Miss Molly.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
You too.
Anthony department is the water department, and that department starts on page 37.
Thank you.
Wow. You're welcome.
I think you got plenty of battery, but there's a charger there. Just have to hold it. I don't have it.
Yeah.
What are we waiting on?
I'm ready.
All right. I thought you were adjusting thing. All right, go ahead, Mr. Crawford.
Here to answer questions.
Is there any major changes? I looked at it. I didn't see any.
I was able to reduce a few items.
Well,
You did
explain
what now?
water infrastructure plan. What is the water infrastructure plan?
The $40,000,
Yes, sir.
that is required by EPA. It's a program they came up with, and it is required. The good news on that is I was notified that the state has issued a grant to pay for that, so that
That's
line
gonna be
item
good.
will actually come out.
That's gonna be free. Yeah, we're gonna get that money from the state.
Oh, that's great.
Will we have to pay for it first, Anthony? or
No,
not?
ma'am,
No,
we don't have to pay a dime.
So just, I need to delete that item altogether.
take that out. Yeah.
What
Mr.
line is
Harris?
that? What is that?
Wait, you got
That's
Mr.
on
Harris.
page 39. This the second line item on page 39.
Okay.
Mr.
Okay, I
Harris?
got you.
Mr. Dale, I thought
Yes.
these water meters are gonna come out of SPLOST.
Yeah, if we buy them, they will. That's another.
Okay.
I
And
could
is
not hear
there-
all of that. The automated meters, that's coming what? That's out of SPLOST?
Well, that's what we talked about in one of our finance meetings when we were talking about it.
Correct.
I'd feel better about it coming out of SPLOST, or even split between two budgets. Like buy them, get them somewhere June, July.
You talking about purchasing them this year, Commissioner Harris?
Look, now I don't know when or where. I'm just telling my thoughts on the meters. I'd like to see them come out of a SPLOST account instead of a.
Yeah, that item was raw from last year, and it was just put in the water budget, but it'll be mostly out of SPLOST. We have to check, see how much money's available.
Well, I know we probably can't do it all out of SPLOST, but we should be able to do enough.
What are you speaking on the automated meters?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I don't know. We hit the county pretty hard with our new percentages.
Don't go there.
Right now, the SPLOST doesn't have enough money, but
Yeah.
that will change.
It'll be building. Yeah, it'll be building up.
So Anthony, you don't have any real big changes.
No, sir.
So we're looking at having the way this is projected then that we would have these meters installed this coming year. Is that right?
Good.
It starts. They'll start. You're not gonna do them all. You just start moving along.
Yeah, we'll do so many a month.
So many a month?
Yes, sir. Because we're gonna do a self-install, so we will schedule. What I plan to do is schedule a couple of their off days to do meter installation, and then I'll hope to have a couple of guys during the week putting them in. So you'd be putting meters in probably 6 days a week.
I see.
So no, we don't have the meters already, Anthony, right? So that means
No,
we'll have
sir,
to.
nothing's been awarded out yet for bid.
We ain't even
Or
figured
not,
out who's
the
buying from
bid
yet.
hasn't been awarded.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They
I
have
just
to
wanted
award
to
the bid before I can start getting the meters. They can start producing the meters.
Okay. And
But I
even
think
after the
we
bid
were-
has,
I
go
I
ahead.
think we about had it narrowed down, but the virus thing hit a few days before our final meeting, and so a final decision hasn't been made yet.
Okay. Even after the bid has been awarded, how long will it take to get the meters in?
I will probably a year, I would think.
So a year to get them in. So we're not talking about doing anything this year. We're talking about doing something next year.
I mean, we
Okay.
can start this new budget year. Once we get it awarded, it takes a couple of months to start getting meters in, and then we start putting meters in.
Mr. Harris?
I was just going to ask Mr. Anthony if he got the information from our last meeting that you were supposed to get for us. And don't even ask me what it is. I know that you were supposed to get us some more numbers or something.
I did,
Okay.
and they were about what we was quoted.
Okay. So Mayor, while we're here, can we just get together and let's make a decision
Yeah,
and then present it to the council?
I agree. We'll get together next week and present it to the council on the following Tuesday.
Okay.
Can we do that, Mr. Anthony?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's look at sometime Tuesday.
Mhm.
Next Tuesday, we'll get together the committee and be able to present that to the council at the following Tuesday night meeting.
All right.
What time?
I don't know yet. I'll have to look up my schedule and get with Nick and see his schedule too. And then we'll send you a text. I know you're available anytime, so.
Oh no, I've been sick. I got doctors.
Okay. It'll probably be Tuesday afternoon, so just plan on it after Tuesday afternoon.
All right.
Okay. You and I get together and I'll send a text to the other three guys and we'll try to get it worked out. All right. Anything else from Mr. Crawford?
Nope.
No.
All righty.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Dill, you got somebody else still in there?
Patrick.
Somebody call me? Okay.
Okay. What page we on, Miss Jackson?
Page 41.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wastewater treatment.
He got a new building. He don't need nothing.
Got his new light?
Yeah, got his light. No wonder his budget went down 200,000. That boy knows how to treat us when we treat him good, don't he?
That's right. That's right.
I'd like to first ask Miss Rose, out of the water department revenues, is it just 3 different departments that run off of that? Administration,
It's a
engineering?
total of 4: engineering, water administration, water department, and wastewater treatment plant.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Mr. Martin?
Yes, sir.
This, I tell you, I
He's
got a feeling.
He's here to answer questions.
That's right.
I got a feeling this will be a little short. This ain't Mr. Efall sitting across.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay, Mr. Martin, I'm sorry.
All right. How y'all been doing this?
Just go down there and anything that you see that's way out of line that you got to explain why we're going there.
All right.
And I don't see much. I mean, you say
there ain't very much.
Went down 35,000 on your disinfectant lights.
That's right. I'm going to those. They last about. We have 4 banks, and altogether they last about 4.5, 5 years. So I divided it up, and each year, instead of buying them all at one time, I'll buy $10,000 worth each year to replace as we move through those banks.
Great.
To spread it out over a different number of years.
Pickup truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Which one of you guys need a new truck?
That'd be me. we got Stanley always got the new one and passed them down, so that's pretty much what I'm going to do is I'll get the new one, and our oldest one's a 2005, and it's got some issues with
oil leaking and stuff like that, and that we're constantly working on. So we're having this maintenance shop work on, and it's time to retire it and get another one.
Okay. We ain't got one in the water department or anywhere that's just extra. You need to throw some paint on. All right. And you got you some valve openers you having to purchase?
Yes, sir. We actually put that in the budget year before last, and we never got around doing it. And because the original quote we got was X amount of money, and then when it come around to doing it, the price had jumped quite a bit. So we never went forth with doing those. And so I put that extra amount of money in, which I think was another $10,000 to get these things. And basically, therefore, we have two major valves that has to be turned once a week, every week, and one way. If you're going down, it takes you 45 minutes to turn it, and it ain't easy to turn. So, and you know, most of my guys are 40 and above, so they're they feel it come Monday.
Hmm.
Well, that's why they got you there, so that you can turn that valve for them.
Sound like to me you need to let one guy go and hire you a younger guy.
There you go. I got one we hired that's 24, but he you know, they don't make them like they used to. So
Are you piecemealing something with the mini excavator?
Yeah, I'm with the
we
mini
had 45
excavator
last time, and now you got 15 more this time.
Yes, sir. We're buying an attachment for the mini excavator, and it's something that it can be with Alan having a mini excavator and all. Then we can all use it and benefit from it. You know, so it's definitely something we need, because cleaning around our ditches and our ponds there at the treatment plant, we have no way of maintaining that currently, and so we're going to buy an attachment for the mini excavator to take care of that issue.
And I'll add that word to the end of that title, mini excavator attachment. I'll change that title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Got anything else from Mr. Martin? Yes, sir, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Martin, how come your salary's gone down when every other department's gone up?
Stanley Efall retired.
Oh. Okay, makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Patrick, you want to mention that issue you got? We haven't had a meeting to talk about you rehabbing that station, and you need to get it out of this budget. You want to mention?
Right. Our 11th Street lift station, we put it out for bid just before all this coronavirus stuff happened, and I have it budgeted in this budget that we're currently in, but I have another lift station for the next budget to do. So it's important for me if we can get it, and I know we've already received the bid, and I just need permission to give the contractor permission to start or award the bid. And it's right now where we're sitting, it's going to be, I don't know if he can jump on it right now, but the sooner I get the approval, the sooner we'll know when he can get on it.
Is this in this year's budget?
It's in this year. It's a budgeted item, and we've already sent it out for bid, got the bids, opened the bids. It's just we've had 2 or 3 meetings now that it's been postponed due to the coronavirus.
And this is on page 43, Commissioner Todd. Almost halfway the page, you'll see rehab lift station for $150,000.
Yes.
150,000 for this current budget and 150,000 for the proposed budget.
I got you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we'll be able to address that in our June meeting, Mr. Martin.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Martin? I'm sorry, I missed it. Okay. All right. I think that'll take care of it, Mr. Martin. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
All right, Mr. Deal, what you got next?
That's it.
That's it.
Nope.
Y'all want to
Yeah.
talk? Y'all want me to talk?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, we forgot you.
Yeah, we
You
got
got
Miss Jackson.
5 minutes.
How
You
can
got
we
5
forget you?
minutes.
I
Don't
did
You
not
got
forget.
5
forget you,
minutes.
Rose.
Don't forget me.
I did not forget you.
5 minutes.
I know Commissioner Harris didn't forget me. That's the only one I can depend on.
no.
Oh, now we see.
That may or may not be a good thing, Rose.
Okay.
Where
Did
you
y'all
coming
all
from,
take that down? That thing's on YouTube, so we got it recorded.
Yeah.
Um,
Where you coming from, Miss
I
Jackson?
didn't really ask for much in my budget as far as changing.
What page? What page?
My budget starts on well, with the revenues starts on page 1. We have to do all of that, and then the administration part starts on page 5. This is in the general fund administration. As you can see, it's not much changing at all. On page 6, the GERMA property and liability insurance, the rates went up. It's always going up a little every year. So that's $10,000 difference in the general fund part. And it's also going to be an increase on the water because we take it out of both funds. Communications went up because the telephones and all and the cell phone bill, all of that kind of increased. And then let's go over to the water side, which starts on page let's see, starts on page 41. It's not much changing on the water administration side of it. Not much at all. On page 41, the City Hall parking lot, it was in this current budget. I put it back in the proposed budget with my fingers crossed. And then also the camera system was in this current budget, put it back in the proposed budget.
And is that camera system for inside of the city hall?
Yes, that's security cameras.
And the parking lot you're speaking of is on the back side back there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And on page 4.
Rose, may I ask you a question before
Yes.
you go any further? When I drove by the building the other day, I noticed the roof of that city hall building looks like it's going to need some repairs. Anybody seen that other than myself?
I talked with Mr. Dill about that, and he can explain.
Yeah, that front part, is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
That's a shell type roof, and it's actually in pretty good shape. It don't look the best to the west, but it's in pretty good shape.
What, is it painted or?
I think it's just natural.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It does stand out. I didn't like it either.
Yeah. It is a little odd.
Page 40, the very bottom of the banking fees. As you can see, it increased, and the reason for that is we're paying those the online fees for people paying their water bill online.
And what percent is that? Or is it a flat rate?
It's $2.50. It's a flat rate.
Okay.
When you pay your water bill, it's $2.50 fee.
So that's what you all is waiving for the next 3 months or for this past 3 months.
Right, and the city has picked up the tab for it.
Yeah, that's $20,000.
Yeah, it still has to be paid. Those fees still have to be paid, but instead of the customers paying those fees, City of Jesup started paying those fees.
Yes, sir, Mr. Harris.
Are you done, Miss Rose?
I am, unless y'all want to talk about any of the other funds or the revenue part.
All right, just hang on just a second.
Okay.
Verizon franchise fee, why'd that go to nothing?
Because we've been trying to contact them to see. We received some money from them one time.
Right.
We never received any more money. So every time we contact them, you know, they don't feel like they owe the franchise fee. So I don't know what that money was for that we received, whether it was franchise fees or something else, but we haven't been able to receive any more money.
What page is that on?
Page 1. Almost to the bottom.
Paying that? We're paying that on our bill, aren't we?
No, that's fees coming from them.
No, I'm not sure. I think we checked on that, and I'm not sure what we.
I agree, and I remember now because I asked about this a long time ago, and we hadn't gotten anything for years now.
Right, exactly. So I
okay.
just went ahead and just took it out. If we do, you know, get any money, then we'll put it back in there. But we haven't received any money for the past few years.
Well, my question would be, why would we get it from Access ATC and AT&T and not from Verizon?
Because they have lines going in the ground using our right of ways.
I got you.
That's not part of the tower fee, is it, Rose?
No, that's different.
No, the tower.
They got to pay us
Yeah,
that
that's
right.
They don't
And
have
that's
any
further
lines.
down.
Yeah, they don't have any lines running through our city streets. So
Okay.
in essence, you know, it's just like the power company pays us a ton of money, almost $500,000, maybe a little over, for those power lines running through the city. And if they don't have any, if it's all what am I saying, wireless, then they don't have to pay it.
While we on this page 1, the very bottom is you can see the energy excise tax, and y'all know that's supposed to.
That was my next question.
That's supposed to keep decreasing
Right.
till it phases out. So that's why that's going down.
I figured it would go down even further. Aren't we about done with that?
I thought it was supposed to go down like 25% each year. That's not what it's doing.
Y'all just quit talking about it. We'll just keep collecting it and don't
We'll
worry.
just keep collecting.
Well, I done messed up then. I asked Mr. Keith about it yesterday.
They may correct it now.
I couldn't remember when
it was supposed to have been phased out last year.
Okay.
Right.
So we may get it, may not get it.
Mr. Deal, that on the water tower rental to Verizon, is that an annual contract?
The water tower is not. It's the tower out at the wastewater treatment plant.
Well, it says water tower rent Verizon $12,000.
No,
that means the antenna is on our water tower.
I understand.
No, that's not true.
But
the Verizon tower is out at the wastewater treatment plant.
yeah, they built theirs from ground up. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's labeled wrong.
Okay. And so that means that's their own tower. That's not where we can say, "Let here, we'll snatch it off our water tower and throw it down on the ground if y'all don't pay that $2,500."
We just have snatched it off our property.
We could cut the power from.
They're leasing our property.
Yeah. Okay. That's the lease property. Okay. All right. Okay.
Mayor.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Harris.
FEMA grant, $195,000. Why is that still there?
The $195,000 is we're still waiting on a refund.
Okay, so you think we're gonna get that?
Fingers crossed, because
Okay.
I mean we'll do that. Put it that way, we'll do that. You know, Matthews came through, and then our what was it? Hurricane Irma?
Yeah, I
came
don't
next.
remember.
Hurricane Irma, we haven't received the reimbursements from Irma. that's when everything went haywire and everything got stalled. So
Mr. Deal, that's federal, right? That's coming from federal people, right?
Yes.
That's correct.
So is that something that we can talk to Congressman Carter about for his group to inspect and look into it?
Yeah, I think we could, you
I
know.
mean, that's a long time ago. I mean, that's.
Yeah. And they're kind of like CSX actually.
Oh. Yeah.
Whenever
I
they
know,
choose to do so.
I do flood insurance with them. Okay. Let's make a note that we talked to Congressman Carter's group about that. And I'll put one of them boys on it and let them research it and get back with us.
Okay.
195,000, right?
right. And if y'all have any other questions about any of the other revenues or any of the other funds, just feel free to ask.
Any other questions?
I'm looking. I think I got most of mine settled.
What's our, what, yeah, I'm sorry.
Let me, excuse me, anyone have any other questions for Mr. Deal or Ms. Jackson right now?
I just want to say that I just want this budget to be as conservative as possible. And I understand we got money in the bank, but you know, it might be a time where we really need it because we don't know what, like the mayor said, what next year is going to come, and you know, they're talking depression, and I mean, who knows what's going to happen.
We're pretty conservative. I usually work on a real strict budget, and the guys do too. I mean, they have the mentality and the mindset that they're going to do what they do at the least cost. So,
well, and we can always adjust it if we have to.
Well, I'd like to say one thing, Mr. Deal, and you've been here tonight. You and Ms. Jackson both have heard the concerns and questions and all that came from the council about different things and how and the guys answered them, which was all fine. Well, you know, if there's, I'd like for us, and this would be totally up to the council. We got I've talked to a few mayors around about getting back into our council and having a meeting in the chambers. Gainesville, some of those places are doing them starting in June. I'd like for us to get together and do a budget meeting at 5 o'clock on that Tuesday of our regular meeting, which is June the 2nd. And if Mr. Dillon's got any changes and all that they can see on the budget to present to us and let us look at them on June the 2nd. And I was going to get with Ms. Jackson and in the health department and see about how we can set up our chambers to where we can still have our meetings, because a lot of the cities are doing that still, getting back into that on 1st of June.
What if we go to Cracker Williams?
Sir?
What if we go to Cracker Williams?
You have a lot more space there.
A lot more space.
Man, live. No wonder you're a Harris. That's pretty smart.
We can make a big U shape for us, and we can be spread out and put tables together, make a U shape, and then have chairs in the audience.
I like that, Miss Jackson. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Thinking out the box. Okay.
Now, what time would this budget study be? 5 or what time?
Yeah, 5 o'clock. I will get with it.
June the 2nd.
Yes, sir. That's a
regular meeting night.
Yep.
Hey, that's our regular.
We have the 7 o'clock meeting, and this would be prior to that.
Yep. That's a good idea, Mr. Harris. Man. You're interested in being a city manager?
Are you satisfied with that?
No.
Do what, Ms. Armstrong?
I asked Mr. Harvey, would he think he'll be okay with that?
I think so. I'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
Well, and I think we can provide masks and sanitizer and.
Oh yeah,
you know,
we can have it set up. Yeah.
That's a lot better. That's a lot better than banked up in the meeting regular
That's
meeting.
a great idea. We got a nice building, air conditioned. Everything's nice about it. So let's plan on that. If y'all don't mind, all 6 of you, we'll plan on meeting at Cracker Williams, and that's where the announcement will be made at Cracker Williams.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Yep. All right. That all right with y'all to meet at 5 o'clock and discuss this if Mr. Deal can cut another 100,000?
Sounds good.
All right. We'll adjourn. We'll see y'all. We'll get the information out for the next meeting on June the 2nd. Y'all have a very safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. Be careful and still fight the fight. We never know where it's going to come up, so let's keep going.
Let me ask one question before you end the meeting. On the pool, what did y'all decide anything on the pool? Or were we cutting it to 120,000 or not? Cutting it back to 200,000?
Yeah, I think we're cutting it back to 200,000.
Okay.
Is that not what we?
That's what we agreed on.
Yeah, I think we're at 200,000 to get what we can get.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I'll just clarifying that. Okay.
Yep. All right. Thank y'all very much, and I appreciate you again, Mr. Harris, for setting this up. Mr. Deal and Ms. Jackson, thank y'all, and all the commissioners. Thank y'all very much.
Shout out to Josh Griffin. He's been monitoring the whole and YouTubing it.
Yeah.
Josh, I'll tell Josh we'll buy him lunch. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Harris.
All right. Y'all have a good evening.
Y'all have a good weekend.
Thank